Well, hey, welcome back. It is May 11th, 2022, and we didn't get nuked. Shocker. Anyway, I keep getting this question. Well, engagement with a viewer on a previous video. How many mags is enough? And the answer is for what? So, 10 minutes or less, completely subjective. My opinion from my lips to your ears. It depends what you're doing. Plain and simple, it depends what you're doing. Pardon my allergies. We went from winter to second winter to third winter, and last night we had spring. So we went from little bitty buds on the trees to all the leaves here in northeast Pennsylvania. And yeah, I'm suffering. I also only slept 6 hours after working 12, so you'll have that. Anyway, about a year ago, I did a video about body armor versus a chest rig, and I had certain things set up certain ways, right? If you go back and watch, you'll see the chest rig had 6 rifle magazines, a pistol magazine, a couple of knives in different places for different things. Um, it was set up to wear a pack with hydration on it, and that type of thing. And then I had a plate carrier that I said I really wasn't fond of, and I couldn't see myself using, with the exception of a very small niche of environments that had 3 mags, a radio, and nothing else on it. And the focus in is, do you think 3 magazines is enough? Well, yes, maybe, probably, question mark, right? So that specific setup that has the 3 magazines on it. In addition to that, there's already one in the rifle. There's a pistol and 2 pistol magazines, right? So you've got your firearm loadout. That particular setup is not meant for a long-term operation. It's not meant for um, combat operations, things like that. It's meant for a very specific purpose. So if I'm getting in a vehicle and going from point A to point B to retrieve something at point B and back, that's what you'll see me using. Um, in that case, yes, there's 3 magazines for the rifle on my body. However, in the truck, there's more. Um, if I am sitting a static post, that's the setup you'd see me wearing. But right next to me is going to be my bag that has my medical, calorie, food, snacks, water, and more magazines. Um, Instead of focusing on the big picture, I think people are zooming in on the macro, right? The immediate of, or the micro of, you've only got this many with you in the here and now. The thing a lot of people don't realize, right? I'm not a Marine anymore. That was 20 years ago. So I am not expected to put on a loadout and assault a position. So that's not an applicable form of equipping myself for every environment. At that time, whether you are Marines, Army, um, Air Force, whatever they do that requires land based operations like PJs, SF, anyway, regardless, getting into the weeds, that's not the environment you're operating in. In those environments, here's your gear, make it work. As a civilian, an armed prepared citizen, you can tailor your gear to what you think you need it to do. So yes, I have my chest rig that's got all the magazines. It's got the knives, a spot for the radio, a spot for first aid, a backpack with food, water, more magazines, more first aid that I can ditch and go as need be if I think I need to, or if the situation dictates that I need to. Whereas somewhere that's going to be a quick in and out, I'm going to tailor a totally different setup for. I.e., the plates with the 3 magazines, a minimal amount of first aid, a pistol, 2 magazines, and communications. The question came up of what happens if you can't get back to your vehicle where more magazines are. Well, that's piss poor planning. The idea that that's going to happen, I think, is people watching too many episodes of The Walking Dead. The idea that a society in WROL is going to be constant firefights, aggressive acts, belligerent people doing bad things is, I don't want to say a pipe dream, but the reality of it isn't necessarily there. WRL, without rule of law, is going to depend, the environment of it is going to depend where you are and the people around you. So, if you're in one of those environments where people are going batshit crazy, then you're going to tailor your loadout a little bit differently than I'm going to tailor mine. And again, you're going to base that loadout on what you think you need for that environment. I can't tell you what you need for your environment because I don't know where you are. And generally, I'm not the type of person that tells people what they need. That's a different guy from Pennsylvania. Anyway. Is 3 magazines enough? For certain situations, yes. Without resupply in certain situations, probably. If you think you're going to be going into a full-on Mad Max, War of the Worlds, World War Z, Walking Dead scenario, I want all the ammo. I'm not going to limit myself. I'm also not going to willingly walk into that scenario. If I can avoid it, I will. That being said, if you don't think 3 magazines is enough for you, then by all means, carry more. Figure out a way to do it. Take your gear, put it on, test it out. One of the dogs is running up and down the stairs. I hope he's not eating cat box cookies. Anyway, put it on. Try it. Make sure it fits you. Set things up where you can get to them in the order with the ease that you think you need to, right? Don't put a bunch of stuff somewhere that you saw on a video just because you saw it on a video and assume that's going to work for you. You might have shorter arms than the guy on the video and not be able to reach all the way over there to get a magazine out, right? Stop. Other dog has a lot to say. Figure out what works for you. Build your gear. Reassess it. Try it out. Reassess it. I think Alpha Charlie did a good video on that, or similar, about don't move your gear around just because of something you saw or just because of a single scenario. Go watch that. That's going to cover this topic as well. To the point of the viewer that asked, your environment is going to dictate what's enough, how many, how you carry them, where you carry them, if you carry them. That's going to be dictated by your environment. One last example, and then we're done here. I think I took the dead horse and thumped it pretty good. As a private citizen, armed prepared citizen, if I'm going to the grocery store, I'm going to have my concealed carry weapon, a spare mag on my body, and probably another one in the glove box or the center console of the truck, right? Maybe a little minor medical tourniquet in my pocket. That's it. I'm not expecting to get into a fight. I'm not trying to get into a fight. If I do, I have enough equipment with me to address and retreat. I'm not there to be a hero. At work, pistol, 2 magazines, right? Pistol goes in a duty holster. I don't wear a duty belt. I wear a Molly vest. So I'll have 2 magazines over here on my vest, radio, handcuffs, and pepper spray. In my duty bag, I'll carry 2 more pistol mags. Since we're still waiting on the rifle racks for the new patrol cars, my rifle sits in the trunk. And depending on the day, the time, what's in the bag that I throw together, there's either 2 or 3 magazines in the bag. Why? The situation's not going to dictate, well, let me rephrase that. The situation shouldn't dictate that I need more than that to settle a problem. The reality of it is, in that environment, the rifle may come out, but the likelihood of it being used is slim to none. I've been on more than one barricaded gunman, and it took more effort to get everything out and get situated than it did to get the guy to come out of the house. Anyway, totally different story. When I work with my buddy that has his PI's license and he does security work, we've done witness relocation. We relocated a woman whose husband was involved somehow in Mexican drug cartel, Mexican mafia, I forget. Quite honestly, it was better off that I didn't know. Point A, point B, right? So in that situation, I'm stuck in a vehicle with this lady and her child while my partner's driving, knowing that we're in a friendly environment with potential hostiles around. So, plates, 3 magazines, something with a shorter barrel. In that case, it was an AR pistol, but we generally go with AR pistol or PCC for that environment, just because of the maneuverability inside the vehicle. Center console of the vehicle, more magazines. Glove box of the vehicle, more magazines. But the reality of being able to move and maneuver in and out of a vehicle with a full combat loadout on you, it just isn't there. You're going to get stuck. So that environment dictated that loadout. If I'm doing a long-range patrol in the woods, then I'm going to bring more ammo, but I'm not going to bring plates. I'm going to bring a chest rig. Weight versus maneuverability, right? That goes back to the other video. God, we're 13 minutes in. Not only have I beat this horse to death, I've resurrected it and killed it again. Your situation is going to depend on what's enough. Your task is going to depend on what, or is going to determine what's enough. And then you have to use common sense. If you live in an area where all hell breaks loose on a regular basis, 3 magazines might not be enough when the balloon goes up. Depending on how you want to look at it, it already went up in certain areas. So, on board that, catch you in the next one. Be safe. Watch your 6. Out for now.